Hello, I just wanted to talk about the recent novel that I completed, and it's called The Push. I have read it on my iPad and I have made some notes in it, which is a good thing uh, that you can do in an iPad, like any tab, right? I never thought I'd be enjoying an ebook. I'm always a physical book person before this, but I think the very first book that got me into ebooks is um, this one, Bloom, and it was a brilliant read. I'm going to talk about it later, but today we're going to talk about The Push. And Ashley Audrain is the author. Let me, yeah, I have a lot of um, things that I highlighted. So, yeah, let's see. How do I summarize this book? So it's basically this woman that is in love with a man, and they get married, and they have a baby, right? And that's when the story starts, right? mm, so the woman in question is Blythe, and the baby is purple. Sorry, I think it's violet, sorry. Okay. uh Blythe does not have feel a positive connection to purple. Sorry, for the last time, it's violet. And she just, she feels like violet is sucking the life out of her, you know um and this is even before she could even speak. She was a newborn, and even then she used to like meet with people, other moms, new moms, and she never could relate to the things that they say, like it's such a rewarding experience, it's such a beautiful thing to go through. My newborn this, my newborn that. It's a phase or whatever, and then ultimately it's they never shit about it. They never shit about how difficult it is, how irreversible it is, how, yeah, they don't complain is what I'm saying. And so Blythe is a little alone in this. Even the husband wouldn't bitch about it. Even the husband was good to begin with. I think, like, he used to like walk her home and all that sweet things, but he just turns into this typical man that expects a woman to just be like the perfect mom. Okay, put your baby before you, ahead of you, ahead of your needs, and just be the perfect mom. Blythe is into writing a lot, and she used to. So they're like married for like 10 years or so, and might be wrong, but a lot of time, like 10 years. And Let me take a breath. This is very cold. It is very, very cold. It's getting, probably it feels like the second day of winter where I live. And I'm wearing a sweater because it's very cold, and I made cold coffee. I am that person. I made cold coffee because that's my recent obsession with oat milk, which is also something that I recently discovered, and I'm thankful. I'm really thankful that I like oat milk. I have always been looking for a substitute for milk, like the cow's milk, and this is a good option. Never really liked milk with coffee anyway. I was always drinking black coffee. I used to make like tea. Sorry, but I digress. I'm gonna get back to the novel in a bit. Okay, now where was I? So Blythe is alone in this, and now Violet is growing up. I'm gonna cut to one important scene in the book. It's in a playground, and Violet is at the top of the slide. It's a long slide, and she's at the top of it. She sort of like calls another boy up. It's a little boy. She's probably around 2 years now, I guess. Yeah, she's able to talk and stuff, probably around that age. So that little boy, he goes up. Blythe is watching from below, and she thinks she saw Violet trip the boy. The boy falls, and he's taken to the hospital where he's dead in a couple of hours. Right? So Blythe thought that she saw Violet trip that boy. And Violet comes down. She is in a nonchalant way. She's like, let's go get something to eat, or let's go get something to drink or something. She has that coldness, like, a boy that she plays with fell down and he's taken to the hospital, and that is how she reacted, right? Yeah, and that's one scene that should, like, characterize Violet pretty well. She is this cold person, especially to the mom. And like one day they were, the husband and Blythe and Violet are coming back from some place where they bought these Russian kind of dolls, where there's a tall one and then the next like small ones, right? All of them can be put inside. She throws the mom lion away from the car, and she like very openly says, like, I don't like you. And I mean, she's always gravitating towards the dad more. Even when she was a toddler, she used to feel really like all the like hands and legs up in the air when the dad comes, and she's very excited when the dad comes. She is not the same with her mom, and it's just more evident when she can talk. Yeah, and so cut to Blythe really wants another baby now. She's hated motherhood. I mean, she's had her brilliant moments with her baby. Yeah, there were some bright, happy moments, but in general, at least in the very first year, she couldn't write the way she would her husband grew a little distant. The baby doesn't like her, and she's just like, it's a different body that you have to carry around now after you give birth. It's not you anymore. um so that took a toll on her, but then she feels really positive about when the thought when the thought of a second baby comes. She just like, even from the get go, she was like, um I need the second, I need another baby, and it's going to be beautiful and all that. So she convinces the husband, they have a baby. It's the most beautiful uh person for her. um she calls him Sam, and she instantly bonds with him. It's not like the first birth at all. It's not like the first baby. The whole experience, she loves the little baby goose. She doesn't feel like, he's sucking the life out of her. It's a very positive feeling for her, the whole charade. Yeah. And then cut to one more really important scene where um, they all go out. Violet is beside Blythe. The baby's in the stroller. Blythe is holding the stroller, she with one hand, and with the other hand she has like a hot beverage, like really hot tea or something that she's taken from that shop. And there is road in front of them, with moving traffic, right? I think they're like on the pavement, and there's road in front of them. Now she thinks she saw Violet nudge her and push the stroller onto the road. The stroller is hit by a vehicle, and the baby is instantly dead. He's still strapped in the stroller when he was dead. This thing, it happens around like 40% mark of the book. I don't exactly remember. And it's a pivotal moment in her life, as you can imagine, right? So the author writes about it in the most evocative way possible. Like, she doesn't cry, she doesn't talk about she's grieving, sure, for the rest of the book. Sam is there in her life, in her brain, in her heart, but she grieves. She writes about grief in a beautiful way. Like, I cannot recommend this book on grief enough. It's so beautifully written. I just love the brilliance. And it's like she's not even trying hard to be a good writer. It just somehow it flew out of her. Anyway, I want to pause here for a bit, and then let's look at some notes. You were making money and I was dreaming. I had made next to nothing since graduating except from a few small freelance projects, but you supported us generously and gave me a credit card saying only use it for whatever you need. This is about the husband. And let's see. The oven was always cold and the fridge was always empty. This is about Blythe's mom. She has a rough childhood for sure. Her mom was distant. She ultimately abandoned her when she was like 10 or 12 or something. A part of the book also, like, it's not a part of the book, like, sometimes she talks about her mom and even her mom's mom. But it's not like, even if you remove all those bits from the story, um, it's not going to take away anything from this like main story. You don't even have to read that. That's just one of my opinions. I was one of them now, the mothers. This is page 30. This is pretty hard some days, isn't it? This whole motherhood thing on page 36. So this is what she says to one of the moms. She sort of like, she wants to like, she expects that something similar comes back, like, yeah, it's really hard, it's not for everybody, but she doesn't get that in return. Okay, let's just go into this one. This is pretty hard some days, isn't it? The whole motherhood thing. Sometimes, yeah. But it's the most rewarding thing we'll ever do. It's all so worth it when you see their little faces in the morning. I studied these women closely, trying to find their lies. They never cracked, they never slipped. But then I would stare at Violet's face in the stroller all the way home, wondering why she didn't feel like the best thing that had ever happened to me. Let's go back. On page 42, I was desperate to know who she was before she became my mother. Page 44. I have written a note here. Oh, I've written a note here saying I cried on this page thinking about how much I love, and I wrote a person's name that I love that person, and I think I just got emotional because I have that person in my life, and I think the writing made me a little emotional, and I'm glad that I have a person in my life. Anyway, let's go back to page 45. Go front to page 45. Here I have two notes, not two notes, yeah. But this imbalance came at a cost. We had shifted away from our easy, treasured decade of comfort. Instead, my presence made you withdraw. Your judgment made me anxious. The more Violet got from you, the less you gave to me. Yeah, so I think this is when the baby's like in their life, and how the baby sort of like driving the father away from her. We still kissed hello and conversed over dinners at restaurants on the odd night we got out together. You always put your hand on the small of my back as we walked closer to our apartment, closer to the nest we'd built together. Okay, I don't want to read. I was now reading below the highlighted ones. But I had become hardened. My face looked angry and tired where life once filled my cheekbones. Let's go to page 51. I'd passed whatever test you were putting me through. We desperately wanted life to feel good. We both had hope that it could. I put my nose in Violet's sticky neck and took the glass of wine from you. Next, another chapter and another page. But it felt like my eyes opened a few seconds before she made her first noise from the crib down the hall. This unnerved me every time. Hmm. Okay, so now till then the baby was just like not talking, but now the baby is talking. We're on page 72. I'm going to hurt Noah tomorrow, is what she said. Okay, let me read the whole conversation. Uh, I think you're a very kind girl, I said. She licked the chocolate chips off her half while she thought about this. Noah said I'm mean, but I don't like Noah anyway. Noah doesn't know you very well then. She nodded and stirred the marshmallow goo with her finger. We skipped dinner. The cookies had ruined both of our appetites. In the bath, she closed her eyes and floated over a layer of bubbles like an angel in the snow. I'm going to hurt Noah tomorrow. Her words stopped my heart. I wrung the face cloth and hung it on the tap, careful to measure my reaction. She wanted a reaction. That wouldn't be nice, Violet, I said calmly. We don't hurt people. Instead, why don't you tell him one thing you really like about him? Does he share nicely? Is he fun to play with at recess? No, she said and put her head under the water. The next day I told you I had an appointment and asked you to pick her up at school. Instead, I circled the grocery store. Anyway, so um so yeah, what happens that day is she finds Noah's hair in her shirt when she's going to do the she's going to take out the shirts for laundry. She finds hair, and okay, I don't want to talk about that scene too much. Nothing really happens. Noah is not the person that dies. mm, so let's go ahead. Let's continue reading the highlighted portions. Oh yeah, this here we're getting to the park incident. I could not reconcile this with what I feared had really happened at the park after school the week earlier. uh, Elijah. At Elijah's funeral, the priest spoke about how God has a plan for each of us, that Elijah's soul was not meant to grow old. And then is the highlighted sentence. I could not reconcile this with what I had feared had really happened at the park after school the week earlier. Okay, and the only way forward I could see for our family was to have a second child. I remember so little else about how he came into this world. I remember everything about how he left it. She writes this in one of the chapters, and then we already know that Violet killed, or sorry, let me take those words back. We already know that Blythe thought that she saw Violet trip somebody down the slide, and now we know that Sam is going to die as well. There comes the the thriller aspect of this book. Yeah, it's not a thriller. It's thriller, horror, psychological, more psychological than thriller or horror. But there's an element of, oh, like what's gonna happen? Like we really want to know what happens with Blythe and Violet. Uh, okay, some more highlighted paragraphs. Whatever attention I had gained from her in the past year, since Sam was born, had all but disappeared. She wouldn't let me touch her. We resumed our old standoff. Okay, and this is another chapter. So this is chapter 43. The chapters are really small, like, max, probably on an average of 10 pages per chapter. It's really easy to go through this book. First line in this chapter says, "The day before Sam died, we went to the zoo. And think in the same chapter, at the end, she says, I don't like Sammy anymore." And then sort of like you have this fear in your heart that she's going to do something to Sammy. Let's proceed. I walked to Violet's room in my underwear, my legs as heavy as they'd ever been. I opened her door and there she was, stirring under her sheets. Her eyes fluttered and then squinted at the light from the hallway. Get up. That's what I think. Get up is what she says to the baby, Violet. I walked to Violet's room in my underwear. So this is when Blythe had just lost her baby. I did not somehow highlight any sentences where, around the time of him getting hit by the car. It's not a lot, as I say. She does not, like, I didn't say, but I'm saying now, she does not write about that one incident in elaborate detail. They just like go to the hospital, and there she mentions to the husband that she thought she saw a push. It's immediately brushed off by the husband. He says she's just so and so years old, probably 4 now, and it was an accident. Okay, let's proceed. I want you to leave again, Violet says. So it's like just a dialogue. I want to leave again. Your room? Question mark. Leave us, me and Dad. Violet. She turned the page. My eyes welled. I hated her. I wanted him back so badly. Okay, let's go to the yeah, I think till here is what I summarized. And okay, so I'm going to make part 2 of it. My husband is here, and also it's 30 minutes, so we're going to take a break.